Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to cut straight through all that social media bluff and look at the realistic, step-by-step roadmap to building actual wealth, based entirely on our source material. We're talking about a completely practical framework to reach that magical 1 crore mark. Let's dive right in.
Let me just be completely honest with you right up front. Almost everyone dreams of becoming a crorepati, but the truth of how it actually happens, it might seriously surprise you. It's the ultimate question we all ask. Can an ordinary, hardworking, middle-class person realistically reach 1 crore? Well, the sources we're looking at today definitively say yes, but absolutely not through those flashy shortcuts you see all over your feed.
Our sources highlight a massive contrast between that dopamine-driven illusion of wealth you see online and the incredibly boring, disciplined reality of actual wealth creation. Think about it. Social media wealth, it's all flash, right? Fast money, rented luxury cars, and endless screenshots of trading profits, usually peddled by finfluencers who are just trying to sell you a course. But real wealth, it's slow. It's kind of boring, honestly. It is built on consistent SIPs, those systematic investment plans where you just invest a fixed amount regularly, and strict financial discipline. So if you're looking for overnight success, you definitely won't find it here.
Part 1. The Middle Class Trap, and Why Most Never Reach 1 Crore.
Now, to understand how to actually get to a crore, we first have to understand the systemic financial patterns that silently keep hardworking middle-class people trapped. Why do so many folks earn decent salaries for literally decades and still live paycheck to paycheck? Well, if a high salary alone created wealth, millions of hardworking employees would already be financially free. But the reality? Your active income just gets instantly devoured. Rent and daily living expenses take a massive chunk of your paycheck before you even see it. Then, bad debt and high-interest loans eat up another huge slice. Once you add in discretionary spending, eating out, movies, those fun weekend trips, suddenly the amount left for actual investments is sitting right at 0%. High income absolutely does not equal financial freedom if you own zero assets.
And a huge reason for that 0% investment slice is what I like to call the ultimate trap. The only 2,999 rupees per month culture. We're talking about EMIs, those little monthly payments that seem so harmless, right? The sources highlight how this mathematically and psychologically tricks you. It shifts the question from, can I actually afford this expensive new phone, to can I afford the monthly payment? It literally forces you to commit your hard-earned future income to pay for instant gratification today. And doing that absolutely destroys your monthly cash flow in the process.
So, the absolutely crucial concept here is understanding lifestyle inflation. The sources emphasize that as soon as your income goes up, lifestyle inflation silently moves right in to destroy your wealth. You get a raise, you buy a bigger phone. You get a promotion, you instantly upgrade your car. You end up systematically upgrading your lifestyle and your liabilities way faster than your assets. Basically, you're buying things to look rich instead of making the necessary sacrifices to actually become wealthy.
Part 2. The harsh truth about quick money.
Frustrated by this middle-class trap, a lot of beginners start looking for shortcuts to hit that 1 crore goal, and that leads to one of the absolute biggest financial mistakes you can make, especially early on in your career. It is so crucial to grasp the difference between trading and long-term investing. Trading, as highlighted in the source material, is basically speculation. It relies on trying to guess short-term price movements and using leverage to multiply tiny gains. It comes with extremely high emotional stress and those fast money dreams. Long-term investing, on the other hand, is about acquiring true ownership in real businesses. It's far lower stress, and it's where the magic of exponential growth actually happens, quietly, over decades.
The sources strictly remind us of a pretty harsh reality. CB studies consistently show that a large percentage of retail derivative traders lose money overall. Beginners jump straight into trading options without understanding the complex pricing mechanics, things like delta, gamma, theta, and vega, the so-called Greeks. To a beginner, it might sound like a college fraternity, but in reality, it's a high-risk gamble where most newcomers just wipe out their entire capital because they fixate purely on the rewards and completely ignore the invisible mathematical risks.
I really love this quote from the source text. Many people spend years trying shortcuts instead of learning long-term wealth creation. It hits the nail right on the head. Instead of chasing fake multi-bagger stock tips or letting greed, FOMO, and impatience push you into emotional, highly leveraged trading, you just need to accept reality. Real wealth building simply doesn't happen overnight.
Part 3. The magic of boring compounding.
Okay,
So, if trading isn't the easy way out and your active salary isn't quite enough to make you rich, what is the actual secret to reaching 1 crore? Well, it comes down to something that sounds incredibly mundane. It's compounding through systematic investment plans. Starting early creates massive final wealth simply because your money has decades to multiply itself. Starting late means significantly lower wealth, even if you panic and invest the exact same total amount later in life. Time is your absolute biggest advantage here. Small, consistent investments over 20 years are going to create exponentially more wealth than trying to aggressively time the market in your 40s.
The core philosophy here is actually pretty simple. Consistency beats perfect timing every single time. You don't need to perfectly time the stock market crash to buy at the absolute bottom, and you definitely don't need a secret tip from a finance influencer selling a trading course. No, boring, robotic consistency, month after month, year after year, is the ultimate financial cheat code.
Part 4. Your actionable roadmap to 1 crore.
All right, enough theory. Let's get into the exact, realistic, step-by-step roadmap derived directly from the sources to get you out of the middle-class trap and firmly on the path to your first crore. Now, you absolutely must follow a precise order of operations here. Step 1, build an emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of all your living expenses. Step 2, buy comprehensive health insurance, because honestly, a single unexpected medical emergency can wipe out years of disciplined savings in just a week. Financial stability has to come way before financial growth. Okay, only then, step 3, start patiently funneling your money into mutual funds or index funds via your SIPs. And finally, step 4, continuously increase your skills. The higher your skill level, the more valuable you are in the market, which drastically increases your primary income. And a larger primary income, that means significantly more capital you can deploy right into those wealth-building investments.
You'll want to keep these foundational rules in mind as you execute those steps. Control your expenses ruthlessly. Avoid bad EMI debt for depreciating assets like luxury phones or status symbols. Please don't chase fake influencers promising ridiculous monthly returns. Diversify your assets gradually as your wealth grows. And most importantly, think entirely long-term, buying assets that generate income while you sleep, like index funds that pay dividends or quietly compound in value in the background. That is the only proven way to eventually break your physical dependency on a single active salary.
Part 5. The psychology of wealth creation.
Let's be very clear about something. Knowing this actionable roadmap is only about 10% of the battle. The other 90%, it's entirely in your head. As the sources point out, financial success is often much more about your behavior than your raw intelligence. Most people logically know what they should do with their money, right? But doing it consistently, month after month, is incredibly difficult. Fear during a sudden market crash, pure greed during a massive bull run, FOMO when your friends are buying risky assets, and panic selling, all of these will constantly tempt you to abandon your long-term plan. That is exactly why delayed gratification is your absolute most valuable asset.
The material highlights this really powerful truth. Building wealth is not about becoming rich quickly. It is about becoming financially strong slowly. True financial freedom isn't about impressing total strangers on social media with rented cars, huge bar tabs, and flashy spending. It's about building enduring peace of mind, ultimate security, and real generational opportunities for your family.
This explainer has shown you the reality based strictly on the source data. But, the next step is entirely up to you. Are you going to keep letting lifestyle inflation and bad EMI debt trap you forever? Or are you finally ready to embrace the boring discipline of real wealth creation and start building your empire today?